Hello, and thanks for joining us on the conversation here at News Central Television. This is a program where we bring you up to speed with all the political happenings across the continent of Africa. I am Gbenga Aborowa.
And I am Rita Omodia. We have quite a conversation for you today. As today on the conversation, we will discuss allegations of kidnappings, bribery and corruption against South African President Cyril Ramaphosa by Arthur Fraser.
And in Nigeria, the All Progressives Congress presidential hopeful and former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have insisted that it's his turn to be president. Tinubu yesterday declared unequivocally that he made President Muhammadu Buhari president of Nigeria, nominated Professor Yemi Osinbajo as his running mate, and got Mr. Dapo Abiodun elected as governor of Ogun State.
Quite a number of revelations there by the former Lagos State Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And of course, information reaching us there says that about 10 presidential aspirants under the All Progressives Congress have actually been disqualified. You would recall that there was a screening.
And I did hear that a very popular politician is amongst them. So I guess on Monday we'll be discussing this issue. I saw somewhere that, you know, the APC, the build up to the APC primaries is becoming very, very interesting. That it's even more interesting than the famous Big Brother Nigeria. So we wait and see how things unfold. A lot of things will definitely happen before the primaries on Monday.
All right, we'll wait and see. Well, let's begin the conversation in South Africa, where South Africa's former spy chief, Arthur Fraser, has accused President Cyril Ramaphosa of kidnapping and bribery in a case he has registered with the police. Fraser said the case was related to the alleged attempted theft of $4 million in 2020 at one of the president's properties and the alleged efforts to conceal what happened. Some believe the allegations could be linked to wrangles within the ruling African National Congress, ANC, ahead of a leadership race in December.
Now, the South African Police Services have confirmed that a case has been registered with them and that due process will be followed, which includes an initial investigation. Mr. Fraser, who ran the country's state security agency between 2016 and 2018, and seen by some as an ally of former President Jacob Zuma, has said he has handed photographs, bank account details and video footage over to the police. Mr. Ramaphosa has said there is no basis for the claims of criminal conduct. Now, joining us to discuss this issue is Sello Lediga. He's a political columnist from Johannesburg, South Africa. And we also have Itumeleng Makgetla. He is an independent political analyst from Trompsburg, South Africa. Gentlemen, welcome to the conversation. Okay, can you tell us about Arthur Fraser and who he is and its relationship with President Ramaphosa? Hello, Sello. Can you tell us, can you hear me? Hello, Sello. Can you tell us about this man, Arthur Fraser? Who is he and what's his relationship with the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa?
Arthur Fraser is the spy boss of South Africa, and he is a political key figure that, in fact, contributed and helped to bring about the rise of the former President Jacob Zuma. Therefore, he's got much more of a relationship to Jacob Zuma, or the camp and the faction of Jacob Zuma, rather than Ramaphosa.
Itumeleng, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so while we're looking at this man, Arthur Fraser, now how serious are these allegations and what does the law say around some of these claims that Arthur Fraser is making here?
I think the allegations are very, very serious, and the implications thereof are also very serious. The law is very emphatic and clear that all citizens of South Africa are equal beneath the law. Therefore, the president is not immune to any law that applies to any other citizen. And now in the party, in the African National Congress Party, there are new laws that he has promulgated recently about the step-aside rule, that any party member that is found to be, or leader perhaps, that can be found to be implicated in any wrongdoing or criminal behavior shall step aside from any position. Therefore, himself, this arrow also points to him at this point in junction.
Now, talking about the rules and how the arrow points to him, these are mere accusations. Does Arthur Fraser have the evidence to back these allegations? They're quite weighty.
Indeed, these allegations are weighty, and Arthur Fraser does claim that he has allegations, and the president today has admitted that, yes, this incident has happened in 2020. And the implications of this allegations are so heavy that we are facing a election in 2023, and the African National Congress is also facing an election or Congress this year. The political mudslinging has already started, and the challenges could come from any other side, because we know that the factions within the African National Congress have deepened so much so that it can be also looked as being entrenched. Therefore, these allegations are very much political in nature.
Okay, while we're looking at these allegations, and while some people will say they're politically made, the South African Police Service has confirmed criminal charges laid against President Cyril Ramaphosa. So what do you think will be the next step? This is the sitting president of South Africa, especially looking at the fact that the former president, Jacob Zuma, is actually having corruption charges against him.
It is not the first time that the president has been subjected to allegations of fraud and irregularities of money. Even during his campaign, there was also allegations that his son had illicitly gotten monies to buttress his campaign. We expect that an investigation will have to be opened. If the case has been opened and the police do confirm, we will await what Minister Makgetla, the Commissioner of Police, has to come and say about the next step. But what I would predict is that there will be a commission of inquiry as well as a formal investigation by the National Prosecuting Authority.
Thank you, Itumeleng. Now, Sello, President Ramaphosa's office, through spokesperson, has come out to question the motive and timing of the former State Security Agency head, Arthur Fraser's criminal case against him. It says it needs to be questioned as why he went public about the robbery that happened 2 years ago after it occurred. What's your reaction to this? Do you sense any political motives behind these allegations?
Okay, thank you very much. The reality is that these are internal politics of the African National Congress. If you look at Mr. Arthur Fraser, he's the kind of guy who was closely linked to former President Jacob Zuma. And he was also correctional services head who got Jacob Zuma off the hook when he was in prison, So it's quite clear to me that because he was a man of intelligence, there's a way that he knew what happened, on that particular day where there are allegations that money was taken away and kidnappings and all that. But then the issue is that it's, for me, an indication that the political temperature is rising. We are just about 5 to 6 months from the national conference of the African National Congress. And Arthur Fraser is squarely in the camp other than that of Cyril Ramaphosa. So the question is that if this happened in 2020, why is it that it is only coming out now in 2022? It's quite clear that it is the internal politics of the ANC. And Ramaphosa himself, I think, has become vulnerable. Remember, we've got a situation whereby he's the only candidate now for president of the ANC. And then there is a faction that's against him called the Radical Economic Transformation faction. They are not very happy because he's supposed to be an anti-corruption gladiator who is cleaning up the country. And the party has taken a decision that any person in the party who has been charged must step aside, But this is getting dangerous because President Ramaphosa is not only the president of the ANC, he's also the president of the country. If the ANC asks him to step aside, what it actually means that he must step aside also as the president of the country and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And there's not much leadership in the ANC that can fill his position, So for me, it's early days. we still are looking for details as to really the correctness of some of the allegations that have been made. Because he has a case to answer, Ramaphosa, whether indeed there was that $4 million or 50 million rand, in his house that was taken away, It's not very clear. He issued a statement to just say this did happen. But I think what is important now, as journalists are digging, is to come to the details, of this episode, yes, whether indeed that happened. And because Arthur Fraser has already gone to a police station to lay a charge, it's going to be difficult to take it, At the end of the day, the police must investigate. And in South Africa, we have a way of saying, whether you're a president or a domestic servant, we are all equal before the law. So the next few days are going to be interesting in terms of getting to the details and seeing how the president responds to the allegation. And the politics of the ANC will now creep in, and I think it will become a big story.
All right, while we're looking at the credibility of the president's statement, the president, Ramaphosa's spokesperson, also said that Ramaphosa reported this incident to the police, but he didn't want to make a public spectacle about it because he wanted to avoid panic and anxiety within the farming community. Now, does this argument hold water, or is the president duty-bound to inform the nation about a theft of this magnitude?
Yeah, but look, there's a technicality here. The president says he alerted the head of the protection unit, and that is somebody who takes care of his safety. What he should have done was to go to the nearest police station and open a case.
But the head of the protection unit is a policeman.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's not his job to investigate cases on a daily basis. His job is to provide protection for the president. When this thing happens in our country, you go to the nearest police station, like Arthur Fraser did. He didn't go and he went to the police station. So he should have actually done the same thing. The question is, this head of the protection unit, what did he do with the information? We are told that he said, no, let's forget about it. And that's why I said to you, it is very important for us to know exactly why he did not go to the nearest police station, because in this country, the law says you go to the nearest police station and you lay a charge that, no, some people stole from you. But to give it to a protocol person who actually is responsible for the safety of the president is not doing what we expect an ordinary South African to do. So at the end of the day, he must do what like Arthur Fraser did. Go to the police station and report this matter.
Okay, thank you very much, Itumeleng. Before we come to Sello, we would like to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation. You're welcome back to the conversation, and we're currently discussing the latest political update in South Africa, where the former spy chief is accused of sitting President Cyril Ramaphosa of kidnapping and corruption. Now I'd like to come to you, Itumeleng. Does the President of South Africa not enjoy immunity from criminal prosecution? What does the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa say about a sitting president facing criminal allegations?
The president of the nation is not immune to any law. In fact, he is the first citizen. Therefore, he is much more obliged to be the one that the law looks upon first. The president does not lead a nation with one set of rules and then he follows the other. That is not the constitutional provisions of our constitution. All the laws that apply to any citizen of South Africa, also in the African National Congress, his party, applies equally to every member. He is just as responsible as any other member that he presides upon.
Okay, still staying with you on that question, but don't you think the South Africans might want to take a review of the Constitution? Because anybody could bring cases to the courts accusing the president of of anything, and this might be a distraction to the daily operations of the presidency and not allow him face his job squarely.
South Africa has had a president of the former president Jacob Zuma, who was almost daily in court. If he's not in the constitutional court, he is in all sorts of courts that the country has, numerous allegations ranging from rape, racketeering, money laundering. The list really goes on. So South Africa, the constitution does make provision for anybody to be brought to book and to be interrogated and to be really transparent to the citizen to which they answer. It is not different for President Ramaphosa. So we'll expect that as the investigation happens and the Commission of Inquiry is instigated, there is a lot more that we will find out during the course of the case, just like we have also had with the commissions of inquiry that we've seen in South Africa before. This is not a different case. It will also be just a run-of-the-mill sort of exercise, I would expect.
All right, Sello, so what do you think are the possible implications on the presidency of Ramaphosa, and what legal options are there available?
Well, look, I'll really look more on the political rather than the legal, you know. The temperature is definitely rising, as I've indicated to you towards the conference, you know. What is very clear is that his opponents, especially internal opponents in this party, have got him where they probably wanted him for a while, you know, and they want to make sure that the very same policy that he has propounded of step aside is applicable to him. Look, this is very important and scary. Ne? If Ramaphosa gets charged officially in terms of the decisions of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, he must step aside both as the president of the party and as the president of the Republic of South Africa. This is scary because remember, these are two different things. And I know that there's been conflation between party and state. But if that happens, it's going to find it very difficult to maneuver because the Secretary General of the African National Congress, Ace Magashule, has had to leave his position as the Secretary General of the party. So they're going to insist that if Ramaphosa is really charged and has to appear in court, then he also must do the same thing. And when he leaves his office in the ANC, it's one thing. But if he has to leave office for the Republic of South Africa, we might end up with a constitutional crisis here, whereby we may end up being governed by somebody who people did not really want to see ascending to the senior office in the Republic of South Africa. So I must tell you, it's not a little matter. It's a serious matter. Ramaphosa must fight hard that he does not ultimately get charged, you know. And in South Africa, I don't know how you do that, you know, because generally speaking in this country, as Makgetla has indicated, we treat an ordinary farm worker and the president as the same, you know. So there are serious implications if he is officially charged, because he may have to step aside.
Very serious in this. Now, Itumeleng, the South African presidency, said that while it could not detail the exact amount that was stolen, that the $4 million detailed by Fraser is an exaggeration. Now, I'm asking you, looking at the Fala farm of the president in Limpopo, could gain proceeds for a day cost up to $4 million. Are these golden cows?
Well, I am told that this. I am told that when this guy is
to Itumeleng. Yes. So Itumeleng, you have the floor.
It is not a secret in South Africa or even beyond our shores that President Ramaphosa is an incredibly wealthy man. This man is celebrated as one of the wealthiest people, business people here, even before he ascended to the seat of power. President Ramaphosa's cattle, the Angola cattle, with the very tall horns and majestic beasts that they are very expensive. We read about how much they go for on auction, for instance. President Ramaphosa has a lot of money. It is not a secret. I'm personally not surprised that money is even under exaggeration, to be honest, because even though there's not a full disclosure of much it is, but I do not think it is something untoward for somebody like that to have that kind of money in his private.
Isn't it illegal to keep foreign currency of that amount in your house, in a private residence?
I would assume there are limitations of how much somebody would have had, but we do not know how much, when that money was brought there, what was the plan of it. There is no details around about what the movement of the money, the tracking of the money is. So it is too early to pronounce definitely that it is what has been done as being untoward or illegal. But from my point of view, I would just say that I'm not surprised that that money was there.
All right, Sello, while we're looking at the game of politics, especially in South Africa, the ANC has been ruling for quite a while now, and we see the party involved in so many criminal investigations. Now, how do you see this playing for the ANC? Does it reduce the popularity of the party?
The ANC is going through a very difficult time. From 2004, it has been losing voter support on a consistent basis. Things like this are continuing to weaken the organization. As a matter of fact, in last year's local government election, for the first time since our democratic breakthrough, the ANC was brought down below 50%. And we expect the situation to be worse in 2024 when we go for national elections. So for Mandela and Oliver Tambo's party, this is bad news, because as these things happen, voters tend to peel away from the party that they so much loved, and this scandal itself may actually worsen things. And by the way, the last two presidents of the ANC did not finish their term. Thabo Mbeki was removed from power in 2008 when his term was supposed to end in 2009. Jacob Zuma was removed from power in 2018 when his term was supposed to end in 2019. Now the question is, will Ramaphosa finish his term, considering the scandals that we have now?
So we see a trend here. Now, Itumeleng, just before we wrap things up, President Ramaphosa came into office as a crusader, an anti-corruption crusader. What are the feelers on the ground, and what's the opposition in South Africa saying about this latest scandal?
The scandal itself is huge. I mean, Jacob Zuma has been a president that was always within the crossfires of everything with regards to corruption and all that sort of thing. But when Cyril Ramaphosa came in, he came on a ticket that he was going to clean up, and that process has been advertised so more by the Commission of Inquiry that is headed by Judge Zondo. That commission has uncovered so much corruption that has happened that this is a big blotch. This has sort of made a big blotch on somebody that came in on the ticket of, we're coming to clean the party, we are coming to clean the country of corruption and malfeasance. And obviously, from the nation's point of view, is that it is big news, because this is the guy that came to fix instead of perpetuate the scourge of corruption that the country has faced over the last decade, as it is known.
All right, thank you so much, Itumeleng Makgetla, for joining us on the conversation, and also Sello Lediga for joining us on the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be switching situations in Nigeria, where a former governor of Lagos State has some things to say and a form of entitlement. Well, do stay tuned.